Would you all join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pat, you taking the roll? Okay, first item on the agenda is public comment. Would anybody care to address the village board tonight?
I'm Bill Shannon, president of the Chatham Railroad Museum Association. Our secretary, Lisa Blackburn, is here also. Coming to you once again about the condition of the roof on the building. I know money is tight, but perhaps there's a surplus. I did take some photographs of it. We lost some more shingles last night on the windstorm. There's some pictures of the roof and a piece of shingle I picked up off the ground this morning. Every time we have a strong winds, we lose more. But I want to point out that, as many of you know, we reorganized our association, our organization last winter. Since then, we've increased our membership by about 2/3. We now have 57 members, and most of them are local. And anyway, we don't have any leaks right at the moment that we know of, but the more shingles blow off, the more possibility of that happening. And, you know, it just seems like every time the wind blows, they go away. We have many irreplaceable artifacts inside the building. Of course, the leaking roof can damage that 113-year-old building. And also, I don't know if most of you realize or not, the museum here is the only railroad museum I know of between Monticello, Illinois, and St. Louis. So, rather unique. And June 13 and 14, during the Blue Carpet Corridor Festival, we had approximately 200 visitors to the museum, which I'm sure some of them bought gas or ate in restaurants here, etc. And several commented about how the roof looked, and like, yeah, you're going to need a new roof. And one thing I would like to inquire, if the village cannot afford the full cost of the roof, we are considering having a fund drive to try to raise funds to pay for a portion of it. Would that be something that would help with the budget? Yeah. Other than that, I believe that's kind of what I want to bring before the board tonight. So, thank you for your time.
Bill, Dell, is there anything you
Questions?
do to help out, or?
I mean, it's just something we didn't put into the budget, trying to scale everything back. If they would be willing to raise some funds, I would think that you as board members would take that as a very positive sign. Bill, do you have any sense of what the cost would be?
Last fall, the village did get a local contractor to give an estimate on the replacement of the roof. That'd be a total replacement was $10,200. And of course, some of you are saying, what? It's not a big building. Bear in mind, any work done here in the village, it has to be paid in prevailing wages, which in other words, they have to be paid union wages. Yeah, I know that sounds like a lot for the size of the building, but the law is the law. It has to be union wages. So that was the bid.
Well, let me make some calls to see if I can.
Well, like I said, we are seriously considering starting a fund drive. I have no clue as to how much we can raise.
Okay. Dave.
It's Sullivan. I live at 9585 South Main. For the last year, every time I pay my utility bill, twice last year, I asked the lady if she would have the street department come and clean the grate out the corner of South Main and South Park. I've already asked them once again this year. I don't know whether it gets lost in the 13th file, what happens to it, but it's never been cleaned. That ditch is in serious need of mowing, weed eating. Whoever is responsible for doing that, I think should be contacted and tell them to get out there and get it mowed. Whether it's the developer of South Park subdivision,
South Main, or what was the intersection, Dave?
South Main and South Park.
Dave, who have you contacted?
The people over at the village hall, when I pay my utility bill.
Has this not been passed down, Bill?
I haven't seen any work order for it. I'm not saying it hasn't, but check it out.
We need to find out because that's kind of our communication problem.
Well, okay.
This last week in the Chatham Clarion, there was 12 seatbelt violations written by the police department. Week before, there was 9. A couple months ago, I came in and I talked to Officer Draving about village employees not wearing seatbelts. It's a big burn with me. They're using my tax dollars and they can't abide by the law. Something has to be done. Whether you fine them, second offense, you give them some time off, depends on what the contract says, you know. But I'm tired of seeing, today I went home 4 o'clock, I went over the railroad track, turned the corner, here's that red ton truck coming down and got the stainless steel toolboxes on the side of it, sitting there at the stop sign, no seatbelt on. A month ago, there was a police officer sitting in BP, and I went through the light. There was one of the bucket trucks sitting right directly across from him in the left turn lane. No seatbelt on. Does the police department have tunnel vision? Are they discriminating against the community? You know, what's the deal? You know, I can't understand why the village employees can't wear seatbelts.
Well, we'll look into it. We will look into that.
A couple of years ago, the police department bought a little toy, in my opinion. It was a SUV, all-terrain vehicle, street legal. I think I've seen it out once in 2 years. I got a perfect idea how to use the thing. I don't know where it's kept. I don't know nothing about it, but I got a perfect idea. Set up there on the west side of the railroad tracks on South Main, and you can write tickets all day long for running that stop sign.
Well,
You can do that anywhere around town. Use that thing for people running stop signs. And how many people are going to be aware of an SUV sitting there? This next item is a picture I took a month ago last week when I paid my utility bill. When I first went by, there was tools and a workbench or a toolbox sitting on the ground. The side of the tractor was off of the tractor, and I think something like this should be stopped. You know what it is? Yeah. Mayor, would you like to identify the two people in the picture?
I have no idea who they are.
Mike Gorsuch and Meredith Brown.
When I went back the second time, I went and paid my utility bill. I went over to the post office and I thought, I'm going to drive by again to see if they're still there. Well, of course, they put the tools away and everything. It's still,
Look into that, Dell.
I think we have, we've handled it with the personnel.
The what?
I wanted, what I wanted to see if we had a picture with a timestamp on it.
no.
Do you have a sense of what time it was? I'll talk to you later. This is a public meeting.
Okay. Is that it, Dave?
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Would anybody else care to address the village board this evening? Okay, moving along, mayor's comments. As you all know, Chief Holmes is retiring Friday, and for the time being, I'm going to have Vern Foley, Deputy Chief, serve as the acting chief. So we'll discuss where things are going after that. For now, Vern is serving as the acting chief. That's all I have. Let's see. Can I have a motion to put the consent agenda on the table for consideration?
Make the motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any questions about the warrants? Corrections to the minutes of the,
I have a couple questions about the warrants.
well, public comment's over, so this is for the village board itself to, if you've got questions.
Well, the last time when I tried to ask questions, you told me that wasn't a question and answers. It was for comments. So
We already have the public comment. This is the business part of the meeting. So public comment is over.
I don't have public comments. I have questions about some of
Wait,
the warrants.
this is for the village board to,
Okay.
so, hearing no questions or comments from the village board, Pat, would you take the vote, please?
Hershey Clayton.
Yes.
Kinsey.
Yes.
Boyle.
Yes.
Lindors.
Yes.
Mott.
Yes.
And Stoddard.
Yes.
I did want to point out though that Dave texted me a correction on the dissension of motions.
Okay.
I copied previous minutes, and sometimes if I'm not careful, I don't change the names. I had Clayton and Boyle making the motion in the second, and they weren't here. But Dave caught that, so he fixed that the second.
That was impressive.
Good. Ghost.
Okay, moving
That was
on
my only mistake.
The ghost motion.
we're moving on to old business, and the first item on the agenda is the ordinance approving an annexation agreement regarding Cardinal Ridge. Can I have a motion to put the agreement on the table for consideration?
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
I think I laid out my stance to the board, and I understand everybody's put a lot of time and effort into this, and I know that Holloway's have a good product, and they've been successful in their endeavors in this type of venture. But you know, and I mentioned my concerns from a planning perspective, a vision for the community, and you know, I feel like we're not an urban center. We have sufficient housing, and I think the market really desires single-family homes. So again, I shared this with the board earlier, but that's where I stand on the issue.
Okay. Nina, you had some questions for Alex and Alex.
Yeah, and I just want to kind of comment on the whole situation. I think, you know, I owe obviously communication to the public. I think initially, you know, as I ran, the concern of infrastructure was one of the big things I ran on. Having open communication with you guys. We have, and last week I brought up many issues that I don't feel the ordinance addressed. Prior to that, we had concerns of the road of Mansion, and at that point, Pat had mentioned adding in a turn lane that they would cover, which was about $56,000, and they agreed to it. That, as I further read into it prior week and talked to many of the people in Fox Creek that I've been working with on this and what their concerns were, one of the big concerns they had was making sure that, you know, the transportation isn't going to be high on their Garvey lane, and that's something they just really pushed through actually at noon today and said, is there any way we can work with this? And I think we have some plans that you guys are going to talk about today to put a possible cul-de-sac in that area so that they will not go through Garvey lane. Also, you know, infrastructure-wise, we have been, Pat and Shane have really done a great job, and to see their excitement of the fact that they can really have a part of how do we start to save cost and not put the costs that we have in the past onto our village and taxpayers. So they are actually going to extend their water main extension from Savannah to the northwest corner of Cardinal Ridge, and they're going to pay for that. They're going to pay for the engineering, the EPA permit, and the water main extension to Cardinal Ridge, and that value is $35,000 that they've agreed to pay for. They've also agreed for that initial turn lane, a value of $56,000. These are things in the past we have not done, and as a business owner, I think it's wrong for me to sit and say, I'm just against it. Instead, I went out, I worked with the people in Fox Creek that I knew, and they've been communicating with me their concerns, and I've been communicating with the Halloways on those concerns, and they have went out of their way to address those concerns and work with us as a community. I think when I came to Chatham, I can remember, coming into town, and I was actually kind of upset that we were moving here because I was finally where I needed to be with my family and stuff, and I drove into town and I said, oh, there's a Starbucks, thank God. And I said, fine, I'll live here, and I won't live in Rochester. And, because Rochester had bigger land. I was gonna get a lot more land for my money. And I said, well, it's a Starbucks. Well, closed 6 months later. So we do need more to build that stability. With that, I fell in love with Chatham, obviously. But what's unique about Chatham is the people in it. And that's what we need to keep, is a small community, and make sure that the business people that come into town are living in town, which the Halloways have raised their children in town, that they're invested into the town, and they're not just outside of town, Grant, you live in town, and that's something we need to look at. I live in town. PowerWorks wouldn't be here if, which to some of you may not be a big deal, but it's a $50,000 that you guys collect every year from us, so that's, you got to look at what we're pushing away and what we're not pushing. And I think that's what I looked at, is this is people that are willing to work with us as a community. At noon, I said, I'm not happy with this. This neighborhood wants a cul-de-sac. We'll do it. We'll figure it out, and we'll give you options. You're not going to see that. I don't even think I would be willing to do that as a business person when I came in. So those kinds of things is what I looked at. So a lot of you guys may not agree with me, but I ask you to respect my decision.
Jeff, Alex, you guys are all working this out, so.
They've actually turned in the ordinance, and it's updated, which I think you guys all have a copy of in your file, of all these issues that have been on there. And then, you want to talk about Charlie?
I can, I don't know if you want the rest of the trustees to go first, and then I can speak, or however you guys want to do it.
Does anybody else have anything to say?
Yeah. I just want to say, this is the second time that the Halloways are in front of us, and just like Nina, when she's talking about working with the Halloways, the first time that the Halloways were here, I know I worked with them, and the one thing that they did for us is they donated land for our park, so that's something that I really did appreciate them doing at that time, and I think that's a great thing for them to do. The question that I had was in terms of pressure, and I know Dell did provide this document here to state that the pressure would be actually higher, and I think that's something that you guys work together to make sure that would happen, and that's something that I do truly appreciate for this project, because I think that's not just makes Cardinal Ridge a better development, but that's probably going to help the entire area over there for Chatham. So I appreciate that.
Did you want to comment, or?
Sure, I've got a few comments. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Jeff Baker. I'm counsel for the petitioner. I will just say briefly, Chris apologizes he couldn't be here. He had a previous engagement that kept him out of the state. But as Nina did mention, we have tried to, as quickly as we can, respond to every issue or concern that's been raised, to try to provide adequate assurance that whether the issue is water pressure or traffic, that we've looked at those. This has been a very deliberate process. It hasn't moved quickly. This is actually our 5th appearance here. answering as many questions as we can. I know Grant has been out in the public answering as many questions. With regard to the two specific things that have been brought up, I think the easier one to answer is yes, our engineers have conferred and their projections are that the water pressure will increase by virtue of what our plans are to install. And if anyone has any questions, I'll defer to our engineer, Steve Walker, on that, but the numbers do establish that those pressures will go up. What Nina brought up with regard to Garvey, we absolutely don't have an objection to reconfiguring how Garvey goes if it cul-de-sacs onto our property or if it dead ends and our cul-de-sac looks like the one above it and the one below it. Either way, a developer does not have an objection to. I would only note that based on where the drawings are at now and where we're at in the process, we would need to get through approval tonight, and then it would be up to the village and the village engineers to work with Steve and how they actually draw that out. There are some local and state requirements for spacing on easements, on utility easements. Our engineers have told us that it's totally doable. It's just going to take some looking at to figure out what's the best way to get the utilities across those particular lots. But bottom line, what Chris told me to convey to all of you tonight was he has absolutely no objection to how that is configured. And however the village wants us to do it, we are totally on board with doing it.
So we'll need to add that, Alex, right into, I mean, is there something we can put pending wise or?
I think at this point, the plan that's been submitted, just based on what the publication requirements are, I think at this point, the plan has to be approved as is, and then,
They don't have a final plat of streets.
we don't have, right.
Okay.
So we would have to get to,
Yeah,
and it would,
Find the plan.
Okay.
so,
And that happens quite often. You pass the preliminary plan, little things change here and there.
Okay.
But you get a final approval on that final plan.
right,
And that'll be costs you guys will incur, correct?
absolutely.
Okay.
Jeff, thank you very much.
And Grant's here too, representing the company, so if anyone has questions for either of us, we'd be happy to.
So what do we, is there anything then that we do not need to approve tonight because we're waiting for corrections or
They've
amendments to
corrected
it?
them on the
Everything's ready to go.
Very good, okay.
Ready for approval.
Very good.
Okay, so any further discussion? Hearing none, the first item, would somebody make a motion?
We got that.
Yep.
Got that.
Okay, so, okay.
Ready for the vote?
Yeah, ready for the vote.
Trustee Clayton.
No.
Kimsey.
Yes.
Boyle.
No.
Glenn
Yes.
Now?
Yes.
And Scott.
Yes.
And I vote yes. Okay, moving along to the annexation agreement. What, no, what the,
You just voted on the annexation agreement. Now you
oh,
vote on the
Can I go to the preliminary plan?
oh,
Annexation is the next.
yeah, the annexation itself.
Yep, annexation and zoning.
And zoning.
Okay, and so, okay,
I'll make a motion to put that on the agenda,
do we have a
or
second?
to put up for a vote.
Do we have a second?
Yes, second.
Now, would you take the vote, please?
No discussion? Okay. Trustee Kimsey, Clayton?
No.
Kimsey?
Yes.
Boyle?
No.
Glenn
Yes.
Now?
Yes.
And Scott.
Yes.
Do I need to vote on this one?
No.
Okay.
Annexation is not appropriate for the majority.
Okay, and then the location and sketch map. Matt, do you want
And I'll make that motion to put up for a vote.
to- do we have a second?
Second.
Matt, would you take the vote, please?
Clayton?
No.
Kimsey?
Yes.
Boyle?
No.
Glenn
Yes.
Mal,
Yes.
and Sparman.
Yes.
Okay. Then, we're not doing Oxford Drive tonight, right?
Preliminary.
Yeah, preliminary plan.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought, okay, okay. Pat, yeah.
Motion.
You
I'll
made-
make the motion to put
Pat.
the preliminary plan.
Did we have a second? Pat, would you take the vote?
Who was the second, please?
Dave?
Second.
Clayton,
No.
Kinsey,
Yes.
Paul,
No.
Benhorst,
Yes.
Mal,
Yes.
and Sparman.
Yes.
Okay. Now you're on to Oxford Drive.
Okay, we're not, I take it we're not doing Oxford Drive.
Still with the legal staff.
Okay. Okay, and then, we're not doing
No.
The rubbish, Ryan wants to come in next,
He wants to go to committee meeting.
yeah, next week he wants to come in and discuss further.
okay, and then, the 2016 budget, approving the annual appropriation.
That will be the last meeting in July, and there will be a
Okay.
public hearing at 5:45 prior to the board meeting.
And then, the village manager search,
Yeah, I figured at this point, we're getting so close to Dale's retirement.
Yeah.
It might just be best to, I know we voted to
Yeah.
put this on the agenda, but at this point, I think everyone's comfortable with postponing any of those changes.
I think when we develop the job description, we're probably gonna rewrite the ordinance anyway.
Yeah.
Pull that off.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if everyone's
okay.
okay.
And can I,
Pull off the
is this a good time for me to talk about the search?
So what?
The search? Can I-
Let's do that in committee.
Okay.
I think that's more appropriate. Okay, moving along to new business, the intergovernmental agreement for animal control services. Can I have a motion to put that on the table?
Make that motion?
Do we have a second?
Second.
Discussion? This
Who was the
is
second, please?
Mark.
I do have a question on this. If we have, and Vern, you might have to answer this for us. If we get a call into the police department about wild dogs running loose chasing kids, do we go out or do we call animal control or what happens?
What we're trying to do is send an officer out there to find the animal. That officer has to stay with the animal until animal control gets there. We do call animal control. We try to locate the owner first. If we're able to locate the owner, then we do call animal control. They come down and pick up the dog. An ordinance fine or a warning may be issued for the dog.
Okay, any other questions about, we do this every year. Pat, would you take the vote, please?
I'm sorry, where are we on animal control?
Yes, sir.
Trustee Clayton?
Yes.
Kinsey?
Yes.
Boyle?
Yes.
Benhorst?
Yes.
Mal?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, and then the resolution granting the J.C.'s use of the village square.
That was actually a backup plan. We had been part of the storm that moved through last night, and at this point, since it didn't rain, those that are in charge of pulling off this year's Sweet Corn Festival have said they're pretty comfortable that it's going to happen down at Community Park. So Friday and Saturday, we'll see it all down at Community
Well, the
Park.
weather forecast is good, so
Yes.
that's a good thing.
It's time to get outside.
Okay, and then schedule of meetings, the committee of the whole will meet at 6 PM on July 21. And then the next regular village board meeting will be July 28. And then we need an executive session to cover release of minutes and possible litigation. So can I have a motion?
I'll make that motion.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Pat, would you take the vote, please?
Trustee Clayton?
Yes.
Kinsey?
Yes.
Boyle?
Yes.
Benhorst?
Yes.
Mal?
Yes.
And Sparman.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so.
I have
Just so you know, there's nothing in the current ordinance
Dave, you're asking That's outrageous. This one, but I kind of assume that may be for the rec program.
Fees, and the fees cover that.
This one I have to tell you, maybe last year. Puritan Springs water service, $24.20. The employees don't even, village people don't even drink the water.
That's correct. No, they have to, that's fairly cheap. No, departmentally, we either have to put it in a fountain, or we have to put it in a fountain.
Put in a fountain, now it's cheaper?
Now, we've talked about this several times, but we had to get through the fountain, for over $1,000. Shane's looked into that.
Well, I think that's outrageous.
I think the local law allows.
Well, I mean, when I saw that, I started laughing, and they can't do belly laughs. $24.20 to provide water. It's over. It's over.
Sure, I'll be back.
In my 24 miles, you know, 4 pieces of 24 miles for $10. Now, you know, isn't that right? Can't you go out to county market and buy 4 cases for $24 for $10? They have it on sale all the time. Can't you take that and get it? Can't they bring it?
Well, they don't want to have to go and purchase it, that would be an extra step for them to have to
For
do.
$24.20 to have water there for them.
It's delivered to them. It isn't gone and purchased, like they go to Ace Hardware all the time, purchase all shovels and all kinds of different things all the time, but they don't have anyone that can go to county market and purchase water. It has to be delivered because it's not there, it can go and purchase it. Or shop when they're shopping. You know, I mean, I do.
I think there is, but I'm not sure what's on.
I guess very much against the law, because if I was somebody shopping and they need it, whatever, what, I would think it doesn't make it in the next batch.
Yeah.
Well, I think all of us said that.
Yeah.
Everybody's looking
I hope
at
they make it into this violation, do not provide for Russian.
We're not saying, don't provide the water, but you mean there isn't somebody here that can go to county market and you can make a deal. We're gonna buy 500 bottles of water from you a month.
Okay, that's fine.
How many bottles of water is that in a week?
It's a big, I'm surprised.
They're 5 gallons.
That's why.
That's why. It's
Yeah, but I know sure they
Well, yeah, because I didn't want to, the thing of it is this is an ongoing thing, that this is why the future is something that you do look at, because the village office is not going to go away. It's going to be there. It's not there, it's going to be bigger somewhere else. Well, if something else is built, then they would build a cooler or water, whatever, fountain, whatever. But since they have, I don't think that's really why that's that old.
I'll leave it there, I'll print them again.
But if they had put the water fountain in, then there wouldn't be this demand. It would have already now it's gonna take 10 years for it to pay for itself, but the water fountain should be put in.
Has this been the first meeting since?
And then that's a $3,000 expense to the village, that's a $3,000 expense.
County market, just
I was over there. I would rather have
gallon jugs and I go out there, county market, and I fill the jug there.
That's just something that could be brought up.
Yeah, it's simple. No, you're fine.
Remember, this is only.
You gotta park in the.
I don't know, what are you supposed to ask questions?
Well, you're not, I know she's
Well, you have to. There's no questions. So I'm doing some warrants, because I have questions about the warrants, and he says, comment questions. But when do you ask questions? You're not supposed to ask questions.
You're supposed to do a question and not even because all the rich. But that's all I can add.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I have to take it.
He doesn't see that before.
Oh, really? That's what I say, but we don't, it was a meeting.
What always gets me is you will have the same template here, and you will have two figures that will be exactly the same. I don't understand.
Right now, we're looking at October.
I don't get that at all.
How many times have they tested?
Who knows how it goes?
Well, they have got us video, but they don't know what, that's an automatic, there's no choice on that. It has to. That's an automatic, that has to be done. They actually cannot lift that water until they get a clear test.
That's my goal.
Well, what subject?
I have no idea. Where's the Tanner Braves subdivision at?
Yeah.
You know, we done pretty good job of that.
Nope. Just says the board, electric board,
That's a couple months worth of our
for
operation.
$9,360.
You go out there,
Well, when the streets get, it should be cleaned out.
Then they had to trust.
Right down the middle of the road.
To get elected.
Mike and I were walking the dog.
And that's what
But he's supposed to go down the middle and then go back and come down one side and go up the other side. That's what this is. I've seen him go down, you know, I think I've seen that. I've seen that.
No, I saw
Yeah, the bucket list, I saw that, Brad Stewart, and all of that.
I know where. And I love it. You know, I used to go
Well,
out.
skate laps out.
Yeah, but see, you never see where the reimbursements come in. You never see where that's subtracted off. And that doesn't make any sense why you never see that.
Well, and that's what's disturbing. There's some things we do as well.
Right. But where do they ever post what was received in for all the recreation?
Keep track of it.
But how does that? If you have $2 million up here, and you paid out $1 million down here, but you received in 500,000, your bottom line is not 500,000.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Chatham vote, please.
Maybe.
Mr. Clayton?
Yes.
Kinsey?
Yes.
Doyle?
Yes.
Windhorst?
Yes.
Lau?
Yes.
Strong.
Yes.
Okay, somebody,
I will make a motion to release the minutes, the closed session minutes of January 13th, 2015, March 10th, 2015, June 2nd, 2015, and June 9th, 2015. I put that on the table for your consideration.
I'll second that.
okay, discussion. Pat, would you take the vote, please?
Trustee Clayton?
Yes.
Kinsey?
Yes.
Doyle?
Yes.
Windhorst?
Yes.
Lau?
Yes.
Strong.
Yes.
Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Meeting stands adjourned, thank you.
Yeah, I get that.